So we're looking to factorise now the second type, and again it's a quadratic expression, but it's in the form of a squared plus bx. There's no plus c. There's no plus c in this form. Okay, so it's just x squared plus bx. Something like x squared minus 5x. So how do we solve this? Well, we look for a term that's common to both x squared and minus 5x. Okay, and that's x. X is in both of those. Okay, so x squared minus 5x can be broken down into its two factors, x multiplied by x minus 5, because x by x is x squared and x by minus 5 is minus 5x, which is the original product. Okay, and now we're going to look at the type 3 and type 4 expressions that we need to know how to factorize. Okay, and these are known as the difference of two squares. Okay, so we'll be asked, the first type always has a number, a letter, a number, a letter, and these will always have a negative sign. Okay, always, and they will always yield two factors. Okay, and one factor will be positive and the other factor will be negative. So for these types of problems, there'll be a number here, a letter, a number, a letter, always a negative sign. They'll always yield two factors. Okay, one will have positive and negative, and inside or either side of those signs, you'll always have something x and something y, something x and something y. Okay, and you know for this one here, this will always be the square root of the coefficient of the x there. So that's 2 in that case. And the y will always be the square root of this value here. Okay, always. And the same applies in here and in here. Okay, coefficients of the x, coefficients of the y, the square root of those values. So, for example, up here, 4x squared minus 4y squared, there's our two sets of factors, a negative and a positive, an x and a y, an x and a y, and then the square root of this, and the square root of that, the square root of this, and the square root of that. Okay, so the answer is 2x plus 2y times 2x minus 2y. If you multiply one by the other, you'll get 4x squared minus 4y squared. Okay, and the fourth type is very similar to the third, except for the fact that you do not have a letter here. There's no y or b or a. It's just the x squared letter is here. This will always be a minus sign. It will always have two factors, positive and negative, always. And this will generally always have a square root. Okay, even if it's 1. 1 times 1 is square root of 1 is 1. Okay, and it's very similar to the last one in that the structure of the solution will be two factors, positive and negative. This side will just be the square root of this value here in both of them, and this, the coefficient of the x, will be the square root of the coefficient of the x there. So our answer is 10x plus 10 multiplied by 10x minus 10. If you multiply them together, you'll get 10x squared, 100x squared minus 100. So let's just do another example here of, say, factorize 49a squared minus 1. Okay, so it's going to have two factors, always plus, always negative. In here, it's going to be the square root of 1 is 1 and 1. And in here, we're going to have whatever the variable is, either side of the sign there. And here is going to be the square root of 49 is 7 and 7. So 7a plus 1 times 7a minus 1 will give you 49a squared minus 1. Let's do it. 7a by 7a is 49a squared. 7a by minus 1 is minus 7a. 1 by 7a is plus 7a. And plus by minus 1 is minus 1. So they'll cancel out. 49a squared minus 1. So now let's move on to solving quadratic expressions, and when we say solving now, it's that old thing we're going to find the extra step really we'll find the factors of the expression, but then we'll go on further to find a value for x, okay? And that solve generally means there's an equal sign, which means find the number, find a value for x, okay? So x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0, and the factors of that from before are x minus 4 and x plus 1. So x minus 4 times x plus 1 is equal to 0, because x minus 4 by x plus 1 is equal to this. That's equal to 0, so these must be equal to 0 too. So if I was to divide both sides by x plus 1, I'd find that x minus 4 equals 0. Or if I was to divide both sides by x minus 4, I'd find x plus 1 is equal to 0. And if that's the case, x minus 4 is equal to 0, then x equals 4, and or x plus 1 equals 0, x must be equal to minus 1. Okay, so both values are true actually. If you plug them in, if you let x equal 4 and put it into that, that would hold true as 0. And if you let x equal minus 1 and put it into this, that would all equal 0 as well. So let's solve x minus 3 over 3 plus 12 over x equals 4. Now I'm just going to do it, there's two ways of doing this, the containers way or the other way, the quick way if you like. So we'll go with the quick way this time, where I look to see what are the denominators involved in the sum. Okay, and I multiply them together, so I have 3 by x by 1, and I've 3x. Okay, and this is like the magic bullet, this 3x, that I just multiply each term by 3x. Okay, and I have 4 there by 3x. So what will happen there is our 3's cancel, but our x stays there. Our x is cancelled here, but our 3 stays there, and 3x by 4 is 12x. So I have x by x minus 3 plus 3 by 12 equals 12x. And then if I multiply those out, I get x squared minus 3x plus 36 equals 12x. Gather the terms, x squared minus 3x minus 12x plus 36 equals 0. So I end up with this quadratic equation, x squared minus 15x plus 36 equals 0. Okay, so let's find the factors of that. X and x, minus 12, minus 3. How do we do that? Okay, it's positive. The signs are going to be the same. What are they going to be? They're going to both be negative. 3 times 12 is 36, and minus 3 by minus 12 is plus 36, and minus 3 minus 12 is minus 15x. So it works in both ways. So that's the solution. That's those factors, x minus 12 and x minus 3. So we let x minus 12 equals 0. X must be equal to 12 because we learned and saw how that could happen over there. And let x minus 3 equals 0, x is equal to 3. But just to show you the containers way, to show you that that works as well, if we have x minus 3 over 3 plus 12 over x equals 4, then we draw our line, we write what we see, 3 and x, and we do our 4 containers, we write this in there, we do our sign, we write that in there, and we leave this side as it is for now. And then we say 3 into here goes x times, write that in there, x goes into here 3 times, write 3 there, multiply that all out, we end up with the quadratic equation that we had up here, and then we just carry on as we did. Okay, so there's 2 ways to do those and get comfortable with whatever way suits you, either the container safe way or the denominators multiply together and hit all the terms of those and use that to cancel.